I've turned the frame upside down so we can easily see the limit switches, which we'll now talk about and show you the problems you may get and some fixes for it. When the spider assembly goes up and down, to know where it is in 3D space, it needs to hit the limit switches, and that then sets the X, Y and Z to 0. Then you then move the assembly up until the probe touches the table, and that triggers, and that say is 290mm, and then you've told the software that the trigger point to the tip of the nozzle is 10mm, so the software knows that from the top to the table is 300mm. So then it can work out each layer when it needs to extrude it. So they need to be set up accurately and usually within the same distance, same measurement of each other, and the triggering is via these excess cables you found in your kit. Now, by now you would have realised that the actual kit itself is made up of sub-kits. So if they sell a arm kit, that's what they put in this kit. If they sell a hot end kit, that's what goes in. So the limit switch kit is 6, but you only need 3. And the reason for that is that on other printers they sell, they use the same kit and they need 6. So we only need 3, and they're up the very top, don't forget this is upside down, of the frame. And you may have been wondering, what is this for in the kit? Well, because they're a standard cable length, they're not long enough to reach the electronics if they're mounted down the bottom like I'm doing. If you got your electronics mounted up the top, which is on the bottom of this one, sure, they're long enough, too long. So this is the extensions that you need for the cabling that doesn't make it. And just on the DuPont ends, you'll see one end is male, one is female, so they're actually just an extension. Just plug them in and you just peel off 3 at a time or 4 at a time, whatever you need. On the website for the kit it says only use 2 wires, not the signal wire. Yet on other forums you'll see they say, oh yeah, I've used the whole 3, no problems. So it's up to you to check. But one of the big problems people have with the limit switch is that there's a thin plastic holder, plate, mounting plate that comes with it. And they say, oh look, when you try to put the electronics to it, they hit and people make up extra spaces and holes in them just to get the excess pins to fit in, but they've doing it wrong. The plate is correct except that the holes are wrong. They've got 2 holes, 2 holes. So if you switch it around to the 2-hole side, you'll notice that that hole there doesn't line up with this hole. So again, that plate's off another kit and they put it in. But the way you mount it is like that. Not here like everyone thinks, on the other side. And you make an Eskimo pie or an ice cream sandwich that you can buy, and it squeezes it together. Now these holes are fairly small for the 3mm screw. So with that tap you brought at the very start, you then just tap out this hole here. No, sorry, this hole here. This hole here at the bottom of the 2, and you file that hole out so as the screw can fit in, pass right through. Then you just put on your normal nut. You need a 14mm screw. 12 is too short, 16 is too big, so I ground the ends off I'm using a cap screw because I already had them. So you just grind it off, otherwise it'll bind on the bottom, and then you just mount it in the frame and you push it down solid and tighten it up. There's no twisting, it's sitting flat and it's sitting secure. This screw here, again, this is just one I had laying around from 100 I brought, so, and that just squeezes it together as a sandwich. Your micro switch still fixes fine, and then your cabling just fits in. So you fitted that. Now, one reason why people seem to want the plastic on this side, they say, oh, I want to see the little red LED in there. Well, here it is mounted, and if you look just here, there's the LED, so you can see it. So the LED works fine, you can see it, it will light up that area, and it will fit. So now we have the cable. You made your assembly up, you fitted it in, and in you go. Now one problem it does have is that there is not much gap between triggering and slamming in, 1 or 2 millimeter. So depending on how fast it's going and how quickly it stops, sometimes they tend to ram into there. Also, depending on the distance between here, this one might be say 2 mil out, or 1 mil out, or 5 mil out compared to the others. Put a little screw touching on this surface here, and then you just above that arm, so as it lines up with the trigger point. So when it comes down, triggers, you measure from your table to there, and it might be 300 mil, 302, 298. So you know this one has to come out, screw has to come out 2 mil longer, that screw has to go 2 mil in, so it all then balances out. So that's how you can set it up to get it accurate. Now once you've done that, you'll find that your cabling fits in nicely, hangs down like that. Now some people think a rat's nest is attractive. I don't. I like a professional looking machine. If you look at all the CNC videos, you'll see how extremely professional it looks. If you have a professional machine, you feel like producing professional quality projects. If you're slack ass, that's the type of projects you have. So, but it's up to you. It costs extra money and it all adds up, and if you haven't got many bucks, you don't want to waste them. Take pride in your work, and your work will take pride in you. What I did was, you see in the, just here in the channel, I've used the expanded braided sleeving cabling, and there's a video on that that shows you how to do it and tips on using the braided expandable sleeving. It just fits in, and if you remember on the other videos, I've cut the ends out of the corner brackets and the wires actually feed through. So this particular one feeds in and is held in by the actual 20 mil. Doesn't come out, no cable ties, and as you can see, it goes up and down without any movement. You put your finger on the cable, and if the wheel is pushing on it, you can feel it through your finger. So that works fine. So what you have to do is assemble your switch assembly like that, file it and tap it, screw them in tight. I would probably suggest testing first, then seeing how far out it is. If it is out, then put your screws in. Get a mark on the carriage there where the screw needs to be. Get a little nail or needle, something small, put it on the fire, gas stove or something, heat it up, and then just push it in square, and that will make a start for the screw. And then just get a screw laying around, the ones they use for sheet metal, that type of thing, and then that can just screw in and adjust it. If you work out the pitch, if it's got a 1 millimeter pitch, you know that if you turn it 360 degrees, it'll move 1 millimeter. So just use the type of screw you can find, measure it up, and then that can make adjustment a lot easier. That's how simple it is to do the limit switches. I was waiting for the Hall effect sensors. They haven't come, and it looks like I'll have to reorder, so that's why I fitted those. So that will work fine and trigger quite nicely.